Okay, picture this for a second. A farm. Not out in the countryside, but rising up story by story inside a skyscraper right in the heart of a massive city. Now, this isn't some far-off science fiction concept anymore. This is the world of vertical farming, and honestly, it might just be the key to feeding our future. So we have to start with the big, kind of scary question, the one that keeps scientists and city planners up at night. How in the world are we going to feed 10 billion people by the year 2050? Answering that means we have to face a pretty hard truth. The way we do things now, well, it's already stretched to its breaking point. I mean, our traditional way of farming, the system that has fed us for thousands of years, is now being pushed to its absolute limit. It's a system that's suddenly facing a very 21st century kind of crisis. Just think about the sheer scale of its impact. Traditional farming drinks up a staggering 70% of all the fresh water on the entire planet, and it's responsible for about a quarter of our greenhouse gas emissions. These aren't just abstract numbers. They represent a massive, massive environmental footprint. And believe me, that environmental cost is just the tip of the iceberg. We are dealing with a perfect storm of problems. You've got climate change causing these awful droughts. Our precious topsoil is literally washing away, and we're more and more dependent on pesticides. All of this is happening while our cities are expanding, gobbling up valuable farmland, and showing us just how fragile our global supply chains really are. But what if we could completely reimagine what a farm is? What if we could bring it inside the city, protect it from the weather, and design it for maximum insane efficiency? Well, this is where a brand new agricultural frontier starts to open up. At its heart, vertical farming is, well, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's growing food in stacked layers, one on top of the other, kind of like a skyscraper for plants. And the amazing part is, it all happens inside a building, where every single thing, the light, the water, the nutrients, is perfectly controlled. So, how does this all work? It really comes down to 4 key pieces of tech. First, you get rid of soil completely. Instead, you use systems like hydroponics, which feeds plants with nutrient-rich water, or even aeroponics, which just mists the roots. Second, you swap the sun for super efficient LED lights that are tuned to the exact color plants love. Third, you create the perfect weather, all day, every day. And finally, you bring in AI and robots to watch over everything 24/7, making tiny adjustments to get the perfect crop. And this isn't just a cool idea in a lab. It's a real movement that's happening all over the globe, right now. After the Fukushima disaster, Japan turned to vertical farms to guarantee their food was safe. In Dubai, they're literally growing fresh lettuce in the middle of the desert. And here in the US, old abandoned warehouses are getting a new life as high-tech food factories. It's happening everywhere. So why is this idea spreading like wildfire? Well, it all comes down to a handful of benefits that are, and I'm not exaggerating, truly game-changing. Okay, get ready for this number, 95%. Let that sink in. That's how much less water and land these vertical farms can use compared to a regular farm. It is a mind-blowing leap forward in being smart with our resources. And these advantages are a direct answer to all those problems we were just talking about. You get harvests all year round. It doesn't matter if there's a blizzard or a heat wave outside. You completely slash shipping pollution because the farm is right in the city. You can grow food with basically 0 pesticides. And you create a strong local food system that isn't at the mercy of those shaky global supply chains anymore. But it's not a silver bullet. Not yet, anyway. This whole industry is still really young, and it's facing some major hurdles before it can really start feeding the world. And this, right here, is the central dilemma. On one hand, you have these incredible benefits, but on the other, the challenges are pretty steep. Powering all those lights and climate systems takes a ton of energy, which makes things expensive. That cost often gets passed on to you and me, the consumers. And just the initial price tag to build one of these things, it's a huge barrier for a lot of people. And here's probably the biggest challenge of all. Right now, vertical farms are amazing at growing things like leafy greens, herbs, that kind of stuff. But they're just not cost-effective for growing the heavy hitters, the staple crops like wheat, corn, or rice. The foods that are the backbone of what we all eat. Figuring that puzzle out is the key to really scaling this up. But despite all those challenges, the vision for the future is just so powerful. It's a world where growing food isn't something that happens way out there somewhere, but it's something woven directly into the fabric of our cities. And if you want a sneak peek of that future, you have to look at Singapore. It's a tiny island nation with almost no farmland, so it imports over 90% of its food. That's a really vulnerable position to be in. So they've set this incredibly ambitious goal to produce 30% of their own food by 2030, and you better believe vertical farming is a huge part of that plan.
So what does this future actually look like? Seriously, just imagine it. Apartment buildings with hydroponic gardens built right in. Supermarkets where you can literally pick your own lettuce because it's growing right there in the aisle. All of it managed by AI, with little drones and robots handling the harvesting. It's a totally seamless, super efficient food system right where we live.
At the end of the day, vertical farming isn't going to completely replace all traditional agriculture. But as our cities keep getting bigger and our planet faces more and more strain, it offers a critical piece of the puzzle. It just feels inevitable. So really, the only question left isn't if this is going to be part of our future, it's how fast we can build it.